Hello guys, and welcome to a new Wargame video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you something a bit different. This is a replay commentary, but not of me playing the game. This is actually a replay that was sent in to me by Spartan111, who is playing as NATO231 in this replay. He's also playing with Orca on his team, and apparently they were on comms, so that might give them a little bit of an advantage against their opponents. They're playing against Rickus Rick and Victim of Sex. Pretty nice name there. But either way, he's using a Red Dragon deck in this one, and this is Tropic Thunder. It's a 2 versus 2, so let's see how this pans out. Now, since I'm actually not playing this game, or not in this game, I'm just going to keep the entire thing open so I can see the entirety of the map, and basically we're going to comment on his line of play throughout the game and what I think he might be able to do better, what obviously is just happening, and we're just going to be almost commentating the game in general. As we can see at the start of the game, he is going to be bringing in some BTR 80As, probably with Moskaya I would assume, and there's going to be an MD500D helicopter here. And actually, no, they can't be Moskaya, can they? Because it's Red Dragon. And that is the Korean and North Korea and Chinese. So, yeah, we're not going to be seeing those. But we have an Mi-8 here. We've got the Z9As. And we also have some Hwasong Chongs. These are lovely vehicles with the little AA weapons on the top. And we've got the BRDM-2 Recon there as well. HQ-7 at the backside, basically a Crotal. Very useful for shooting down enemy helicopters. On this bottom side, Orca has some Mi-24Vs, some Mi-8 MTVs, Ka-52, so it looks like he's using a Soviet deck, BMP3s, a couple of Urals there, probably with like Spetsnaz Gru, I would guess, and a Tor at the start of the game. So blue side is pointing out their objectives, Foxtrot and Echo. But they are going to go pretty deep into this map. Let's have a look at what they're doing on their side. So it looks like this is a Eurocore deck. We have Fuchs, and also we've got the Crotals there, so a mix of French and German units. And then at the bottom side we have what looks to be a Scandinavian deck with the XA186NOs. We've got the STRB103Ds in there, SDRF 9040s. Those are lovely APCs with the 14mm auto cannons. Can rip things to shred. He's got a couple of Amoses as well. These brilliant mortar carriers. Well, I guess they're not even mortar carriers. They're just like assault guns, aren't they? And they have the twin mortar on the front of them. Very, very awesome units. Best thing about them is they can fire both of those at the same time. So off we go. Can see that his units are on the move. Just interested to see where he's planning to go with all of this infantry. How far he's deciding to push up. There is a Par-2 Tiger. This does have Stinger infrared missiles. This Ka-52 might be able to deal with that with its own Igla missiles, but I don't think they're actually going to come into each other at the start of the game. There's an Mi-24V here as well that has some Igla infrared. Z9A TY90 though, that should outclass a Par-2 Tiger, can get into range way before them. Let's see if he micros this correctly. TY90 is opening up, and the Tiger has already been hit. Oh, the second missile missed. Okay, the third one hits finally. So the MD500D does go down. The recon helicopter lost at the start of the game there. The F-16A going to be coming over, taking possibly a shot from the Mi-24V and the Ka-52. The Ka-52 took a lot of damage from that block, but that is going to be sent back to base to be repaired. So, BMP3s in the center now coming across to take care of this engagement that's coming over the bridge, but all lovely rocket strikes here from the Mi-8 MTV, the 122mm rockets there, doing so much damage to these Bolshevika. I really thought that they were trying to push too far on this, and they definitely did. Really got caught out on the far side of the bridge there. Lovely choice of bomber, the Su-24M coming in. And now we have the Yeokokde coming into this town. And they're going to be matched up against Legion 90 and Fallschirmjäger. They shouldn't really do too well in this position. The Fuchs and the VABT-20s are going to be able to provide some fire support from across the river. All ZTZ-85-2A there being brought up, going to be able to destroy one of the crow towers, maybe be able to take out the second. Yeah, so both of the AA vehicles are down. Now would be a great time for NATO or Spartan to bring in a helicopter. He's brought in the Su-27M to make a difference onto some of this infantry, but Rick is going to dodge around with the Fallschirmjäger nicely. And he is actually moving them into a pretty dodgy position there. They can get hit by a lot of fire support in that edge town. He wants to keep them pretty close so he can take care of the rest of the Yokokte. So the Legion are left pretty low on health thanks to the Lijuan that have been brought in. These Lijuan 90, the perfect unit to take care of enemy infantry. However, they are being overrun now by the VABT-20s. Fortunately, there are some Chongsu with the RPG-7s and also the Hwason Chongs with the 14.5mm machine guns. Can do a lot of damage to the T-20s at close range as well. So, very interesting contests in the centre. The only thing that I would have said might have been better is if this compound here was not occupied by Spartan's forces. Otherwise, everything else was fine. That infantry engagement was pretty much all that you could really expect on this map. Generally, both teams do get into Echo at the same time. Oh, that Nassau is going to destroy that aircraft. Now what he's got to do is work out where the rest of the infantry is and take it out, because he doesn't want to leave these Legion and Fallschirmjäger alive for too long. Otherwise they can get resupplied, and that would be devastating because he's lost all of his Yokokte squads without resupplying them, and they're actually dead. Whereas like these Fallschirmjäger, a supply vehicle can come in, for example the Mankasi here, and resupply these Fallschirmjäger, which basically makes them super effective and super efficient because they've already helped take out 4 units of Yokokte, right? So that's basically what's happening there. Over on this right side, oh, it's interesting to see some VDV, some Spetsnaz Gru and so on have managed to make their way across the river towards Hotel. So that's going to put a lot of pressure onto Victim at the start of the game. So really nice position there. BMP-3 going to be brought up to try and take out this Wildcat, and is going to hit an HGM first shot. Very, very nice. But now it's all about this engagement in the town. Like I said, he can't hang around for too long. Really needs to get some reinforcing infantry up here as soon as possible so that he can push hard onto the Legion and Fallschirmjäger at the back here before they get resupplied by this Mankati. That's very, very important. Also, Rick is going to be bringing up some more VIBs as well. And they will be able to actually cover off this resupply whilst Spartan is trying to push on him with those extra BTR ATAs and so on. The MLU going to be coming in there to get a free kill onto the BMP, so the BMP is going to go down. Block 15 also being brought in as air superiority. Orca is moving some units down at the bottom side here. Motorstrelki 90 and a BMP 3. Scout Defender Recon is going to be brought over, but got to be careful that he doesn't get that shot down by flying over the Motorstrelki there. Also the BMP 3 with the 30mm autocannon can take out that helicopter as well. So the engagement happening now between the Yokokte and the Gebarmen. 2 Su-24Ms coming in with those massive bombing strikes. One of them gets shot down by a Crotal, but let's see how much damage they did. So the Mankatis were resupplying the Fallschirmjäger and Legion. Those 2 bombing strikes there just did a ton of damage to that. And now the Yokokte taking care of these BTR, or these Gebarmen. Now the BTR ATA is rushing the Crotals. The J7C there with the 1,000 or 2,000 kilogram bombs does land near to the chasseurs, but the chasseurs were dodged out. These ZTZ-85-2A and the BTR-80s there, just taking out so many valuable units here. And even the reinforcements coming up the road now being taken out by this tank. It has used a lot of its ammunition, only 6 rounds left. The STRV-103D is going to be moved up. That's going to try and cover off against the ZTZ as the chasseurs approach. Now the Fallschirmjäger being moved forwards towards these Liégeois. Ricketts needs to be very careful about the placement of these Fallschirmjäger. He can definitely use them to take out the Liégeois, as they are engaged in the same area as the chasseurs. The great thing about those chasseurs is that they can jump into the same compound of the Liégeois, and the Liégeois can't use those rockets effectively, so that's one way to counter them. By the way, Spartan's going to be moving up now with these Mi-8 MTVs. He resupplied them, I think, with more ammunition and is now pushing them up. The enemy command is going to be destroyed in Hotel, and already a +5 conquest lead now for Orca and NATO. So they're going to be continuing to push on up with these Mi-8 MTVs. Also got the Ka-52 there with the anti-radar missile if he needs it to take out any radar AA. The auto cannon from that helicopter going to be taking out one of these Amoses as well. So doing a great job over here to make a spearhead across the river. Fantastic job. Also really good job of pushing up these infantry as well, because like I said before, they're providing constant pressure. So this BMP-3, for example, the Scout Defender spotted that, and now Victim and Ricketts have actually brought some troops down here to like counteract that. However, at the moment, a lot of this infantry is not going anywhere. I think they moved it into the tree lines to avoid them being attacked by the helicopters, but that's meaning that this town here is vulnerable to being overwhelmed by Spartan's forces. So these Yokokte are going to be taking care of those chasseurs, and that's 3 squads of chasseurs going to be destroyed. And then they can slowly come and clean up these Gewarmen and reinforce themselves, whilst basically they aren't reinforcing the town anymore. Meanwhile though, over in Charlie, we can see that there are 2 Panzer Grenadier squads here, supported by Marder 2s, also a KPZ Kyler here, which is very low on fuel. Bomber going to be coming in, trying to take care of that infantry. I'm sorry the camera's jumping around, it keeps wanting to zoom in onto the planes when they come in. Unfortunately that's not my fault, there's not much I can do about that. So they are kind of just ignoring this at the moment as best as they can. But letting all of those units get round into Charlie is a bit of a mistake. There should have definitely been some recon on that side so they could have stopped that from happening. Maybe brought in an Akula or something just to kill off those units. But a Puff going to be brought in over here. That's going to shoot down a Mi-8 MTV by the looks of things. Yeah, but it did manage to get out the command infantry and take control of Gulf though. So the +5 lead still in favour of Orca and NATO at this point. BTR ATA is going to be moving up now. Need to unload those forces as soon as possible. We don't want them to be destroyed before the infantry jumps out. That is a pretty big mistake there. Letting these Yokoktes get panicked means they're going to get utterly destroyed by the Gewarmen. Fortunately, the Gewarmen are under fire from this BTR ATA, and they're also pretty weak in terms of numbers. The Yokokte can still make some ground once they are no longer stunned. And like I said, this town is no longer being reinforced anymore because all of the infantry was sent down here towards Gulf. When honestly it probably should have just kept fast moving towards this town, because keeping the presence in the centre of the map is massive. Marder 2's here going to try and take out this Mi-8 TV as the Hwasong Chongs approach. This Kyler here does have a 20mm autocannon, should be able to take down the MD500D as well. And one thing I will say is that if you're going to be using helicopters like this with the only 4 health available to them, you got to keep them safe. Like, they have exceptional recon, which means they can sort of fly quite far away and, you know, still be able to see things. So that's what you got to take advantage of, keep them safe. Otherwise you are just wasting like 50 points a pop, and it's not exactly ideal. So at the moment, what you want to be doing in the center here is putting on a lot of pressure. We know that at the moment, in terms of what Orca's doing down here, he's spread out a lot of infantry, is causing a lot of pressure at Gulf and Hotel. And this basically allows you to push this town really hard. So that's what Spartan should be doing, and it looks like he has finally decided to move forwards these Yokokte, because as soon as he cleans up all the infantry here, he can get basically the infantry all the way to the edge of the town, and then basically the blue side's doomed. They can't really get back into that without a lot of units having to be used. So the Gewehrmann and Fallschirmjäger were pushed to a Golf instead when they definitely should have come up here to reinforce Golf. And this is looking absolutely dire for Rickist and Victim. So still a plus lead for Orca and NATO. At the moment, I guess the only thing that I can see is that Orca just got a much better position on the right side at Hotel and Golf, and the infantry that got destroyed on the other side of the bridge, this was just such a huge mistake. Like, Victim losing all those Fallschirmjäger 90 at the start of the game, they're so expensive in those APCs as well, and having them just get wrecked by the rocket pods, the MI8 MTV, and also the bomber, which is seriously harmful at the start of that game. And now there's no AA covering the Fuchs, so this SU-25K from Spartan is just going to have a field day destroying those. And with every Fuchs that gets destroyed, well, so does the infantry squad, because infantry squads just get infantry or instantly annihilated. So that was 2 units of Fallschirmjäger there that got killed by an SU-25K just because he didn't unload them as that airstrike came in. And that was a pretty massive mistake. You don't want to lose units like that unnecessarily. I'm actually quite a sucker for that. It happens to me quite often. Because I am used to the old way of it being that when the APC got blown up, you had like still a half strength squad survive. But now often what happens is the squad just entirely dies. Unless you have like 15 men squads or something. By the way, this Mi-24V finishes off one more of the recon helicopters. And well, things are starting to stabilize a little. +1 lead now for Rickist and Victim. So I think that's mainly due to the fact they're not being command units in Delta and Echo at the moment. And also Charlie, there's a lot of pressure in Charlie at the moment just from these Panzer Grenadiers. They should be cleaning those out as soon as possible, and these Bochongsu really need to be pushing onto that so they can use the autocannon from the Z9A to attack these Panzer Grens while they're not doing anything about it. There is a UAZ coming in here, also this MD500D that should be flying around nice in a safe sort of distance. Again, spot this infantry and so on so they can get back control of Charlie. Because if they just bring in another command, all that's going to happen is Rickist is going to be like, oh, I have another command vehicle to find, and he's going to go and destroy that. So the +1 lead's still there for the blue side, but things definitely stabilizing, like I said. There's a J8C here that's going to be coming in trying to take out the F-16 and the Rafale, but looks like that's going to get shot down. The Rafale should always win that engagement, honestly. Just so much better. So now, a lot of this pressure in Hotel and Golf has disappeared since the infantry has managed to clean up the Spetsnaz group and VDV that was spread around down here. And now what they're probably going to have to do on the blue side is push into Echo with as many APCs and infantry as they can, but they mustn't forget and they mustn't neglect their AA, because if they do again, the SU-25K is going to come in and really ruin their day. Now what Spartan should be doing to prepare is get these Liege 1 into a position where when these APCs come across the bridge or any infantry tries to come and contest Echo, they are right there to intercept without having to do a few building jumps. These Bochongsu, it's fine moving them to the edge here as well. That means that the APCs can be taken out as they approach the town, and then the infantry will have to walk across the open in order to get into the town, which gives the machine guns plenty of time to actually kill the infantry. So Tornado IDS coming in, going to get hit by the HQ-7, but this UAZ is currently being spotted by the Commandos Para and the Panzer Grenadiers there, so goodbye UAZ and Delta, and a +1 lead now back to Rickist and Victim again. So this is what I was saying, they really need to identify that there are actually these Panzer Grens here, and now Spartan has moved these Bochongsus out in the open instead of through the forest. That's really, really bad, because he's lost those 2 units of infantry and is now going to have to bring in some more in order to counter those Panzer Grens. Also makes him have to move the UAZ away so that doesn't get destroyed either. The Mi-24V's an okay response. Again, it's just a matter of actually getting the recon there though. And those Bochongsu are perfect for just revealing the Panzer Grens so that other fire support can actually kill them. but instead he let them get killed out in the open, which is a bit unfortunate. I guess if you're focusing elsewhere, for example with the advance of all these APCs with the infantry, it's understandable that you might not be able to micro that properly because your attention is elsewhere. Just having them blindly like attack, move forwards and then get caught out in the open like that is pretty careless. So in this case, the Liege 1 should definitely be in these compounds by now, so that they can be killing the government as they approach. That needs to happen. Also, he has let some Fallschirmjäger 90 get into this town on this side as well. It's pretty bad. If these Chongsu were further up, he could have definitely killed the EPC and forced the Fallschirmjäger to run across in the open. So Rafael's going to take down the Su-25K, and the Su-27PU is going to get taken out by the MLU. Wow, a couple of large losses there in terms of aircraft. That was pretty unfortunate. So this is a very, very close game now, because all of a sudden the blue sides have started to bring this back. They've managed to sneak units into positions that they shouldn't be able to get to. So for example, these Liege 1, they really need to be taking care of these Gewarmen. They should be there already. He had plenty of time to do that. And he should just be getting those into the compounds. So F-16A MLU going to be coming in, taking out one of the BMP-3s. Su-27 is going to stay alive as the Tunguska saves its life and shoots down that F-16. And the Liege 1, even with the Gewarmen getting into the town here, they're still not going to last very long. The Liege 1, they're just way too powerful. With that Type 85 and SMG and also the 50% accurate CQC machine gun. They also had that lovely napalm rocket with 4 HE power. But again, if they were on the edge of the town here, they wouldn't even stand a chance. These Panzergrenadiers would be dead instantly, Chasseurs would be dead instantly, and that would be that. By the way, the control's still being maintained. Over here, the BMD-3 charging on forwards. Spartan losing that unnecessarily. Should definitely move towards the VDB in front of the Panzergrenadiers so that the BMDs can fire at range onto that infantry. That's definitely something that should have been done, because otherwise you're losing valuable spire support units for no reason. And now these VDB are actually being mown down in the open by the MG3, which is an incredibly effective anti-infantry weapon. Either way, another command unit needs to come into Delta and Echo soon, especially once he gets rid of these Commandos Para. Commandos Para actually moving up onto the VDV here as well, and they are going to help stun and kill the VDV most likely. Yep, good by VDV. So still hasn't effectively dealt with this infantry. This should not happen. This should be dead. It's just because of like the way that he used the infantry pushing forwards behind his BMDs, and therefore the BMDs died unnecessarily, when if you'd move the infantry forward first, the BMDs can fire at range as fire support onto that infantry completely out of harm's way and do a lot of damage. But now again, this is just horrible. This is horrible to deal with. Like knowing there's infantry in your command sector is just horrible. The F-16A MLU coming in again. Going to be shot down, this time by the HQ-7. Tornado IDS. Going to be coming over and bombing this again. And this, again, it's because of this Commandos Para unit. It's still there. So another command unit going to pay the price for not destroying that recon. And that's a shame, because this game would probably be over by now if they could maintain the command unit in Delta and Echo. The other thing that I've noticed is they put it in the same place every time, so of course it's going to get destroyed every time. Like, why not just put it like further down here? You can also, with those command infantry or like command vehicles, especially jeeps, you can hide them behind buildings very easily. You could just have it like parked between these two silos, for example, and then it basically can't be seen by anything either side of it, just ahead of it. And that's one way you can just sort of use the line of sight system to avoid it being spotted by recon throughout the entire game. So again, some chasseurs have made it into this town. This shouldn't be happening. Chongsu and Liege 1 should be on the edge of the town. so that they can successfully destroy the chasseurs. I mean, in this position, again, it's not too bad, because Li Juan just automatically counter the chasseurs, and if there's a lot of fire support here, you don't actually want to be on the edge of the town anyway. So for example, these Li Juan should be moved further into the town, which they just were, which is good. And maybe you should swap these around so that the Li Juan with 10 men can take out the chasseurs, while the Li Juan with 4 men get resupplied by the cargo. I'm not entirely sure what's happening here. Rickist and is sending in his Lux A1s and the Leopard to A5s. I don't know if he used an attack move order towards the center of the town, but this is incredibly risky. Lux A1 though is going to manage to take out the Bachongsu, so the only unit with AT there is going to be destroyed. So this Leopard to A5 can actually come forwards and destroy the Li Juan very easily, because they don't have any AT weapons. There is a PTZ here. That PTZ though should not be driving away from this scenario. That PTZ should be waiting there to ambush the Leopard to A5. MiG-25 BM coming in with the anti-radar missiles. He's going to take out a unit or two. MiG-27K going to be trying to get the kill onto the Leopard 2A5, but the Su-25K going to be finishing the job. J7H coming in, or J7C there, with the two 500 kilogram bombs going to be flying over, but evacing away from the Crotel and Puel Noir. Li Juan should take care of the chasseurs, and with that Leopard 2A5 dead, well, Echo should still be secured. But that's okay. Victim and Rickis has definitely made the best of a bad situation. Like, after that terrible start for the blue side, it definitely started to pull this back, but it is getting to a point where it's almost too late. Orca and NATO only need 13 points to win now, and they are on a +1. However, there is a command imp or a command jeep coming across towards Echo, and well, he might be able to get that into there. But there is a ZTZ 85-2A, and if that gets a line of sight onto this command unit, then it's going to die. Does that? Okay, so the PTZ has been moved forwards here. I'm not entirely sure, but I think he's trying to use that to attack the Fallschirmjäger. His government are going to come and move into this town. Again, that shouldn't be able to happen. There should be more reinforcing infantry on the edge of the town that should have stopped this from happening at the start of the game, or throughout the middle of the game even. But with the +1 still ticking up, after 24 minutes and 39 seconds, Orca and NATO, or Spartan, win the game by achieving the 500 points conquest lead. And wow, a brilliant job by Orca with the 2,705 kills to 1,680 losses. That's very nice. Spartan doing okay, 5 more kills than losses. Not too bad. Like I said, there was a lot of things that I mentioned throughout the game, which are things that can be worked on, and things that are good tips for people to keep an eye on. You know, for example, in that sector where there was the command or the recon infantry and the infantry just sitting there for the entire game from the enemy team, that cost them so many of those command vehicles, when if they just dealt with those properly the first time they saw them, it wouldn't have been an issue, and they would have been able to win the game a lot quicker. But either way, a very interesting game. Victim losing so many units there. The 1,660 kills to 2,580 losses. That disparity there, the 900 points, is probably just the start, with all those Fallschirmjäger dying really, really quickly. So yeah. Anyway, really fun game to watch. Thank you, Spartan111, for sending that in. Also congratulations on winning the game, of course. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one. I hope I wasn't overcritical of people's play, but I just thought there was some really good things in this game actually to point out, and things that help other people you know, learn the game better, and just things to keep an eye on. So for example, having infantry either on the edge of the town or maybe one step back from the edge of the town. That's very dependent on what the current situation of the town is. You know, if you don't want anybody to come into the town, you need to have infantry on the edge of the town so that you have AT to destroy their APCs and force them to drop infantry in the open. That's actually very important. That's a very, very important thing to do in order to you know, safely defend. If you let them get into the town, it makes it so much harder to kill them because they get the cover bonus and so on. So there we go. Anyway, so just quite a few points that hopefully you guys picked up on throughout the game. In the meantime, that's all, so thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.